Hey, Zack here from Frontenac Outfitters Canoe and Kayak Center. Well, after a long time, 2 years actually, I've been waiting to paddle this boat. I finally got my opportunity to paddle. This is the Dagger Rewind Large. Why is it taking 2 years? Well, it's been incredibly popular. Every time we get some in, I'm like, I'm keeping that one. No, couldn't keep it, sold it. Finally, I just said, no more. I'm keeping this one. Got to test it out. We got to get the information out to the people. Probably everyone else has paddled one at this point already, and they already know what I'm talking about. But either way, here it is, the review for the Dagger Rewind. So what is the Dagger Rewind all about? Well, essentially this is what I would call more of a downriver playboat, but with a lot of advanced features that we're going to look for in a really fun, well-designed kayak that's going to take us from class 1 all the way up to class 5 if we got the capabilities to paddle that. You know, if you're an old school boater, you look at these kayaks that are popular now, the Rewind, the Antics, the Ripper, the Home Slice, all these really what we call kind of flattened out boats. The term that's floating around these days is half slice, full slice, and what does that all mean, right? If you don't know, if you're not into if you're kind of just getting into the whitewater world, you're like, what are you talking about, half slice, full slice, what is that? So essentially what we talk about when we talk about a half slice is how low the volume is here in the stern compared to how much volume we have in the bow. If both the bow and the stern have that kind of squashed out look to them, we would call that a full slice boat. And why we call it slice? Because it's just really slicey. You can play with it in the current. We can splat it up on rocks. We can have a lot of fun kind of just doing different maneuvers and playing down the river as opposed to having a dedicated surf boat or having a dedicated river runner or creek style boat. Let's specifically have a look at the Rewind here so we can break down some of the more advanced components of it. Starting up at the bow, we've got, you know, our aluminum grab bars here. Again, these can be used for safety or for carrying, whatever you need them to. They're integrated into the boat, really heavy duty, no worries there. What I really like about this is the design of the Rewind, really narrow bow, lots of rocker on here, so it makes for a very playful, fun experience. If you're coming off of a drop through a hole, it's gonna ride nice and high, keep your bow dry, and just keep lots of speed coming down the river, which is something that I'm gonna look for in a boat like this. Coming further back, this is the large version. I'm about 200 pounds. This one I felt fit really well. I could probably squeeze into a medium, but I think at that point I'd be weighing it down just a little too much to get the optimum performance out of it. So I opted to go with the large. Comfort-wise, it was really nice. My legs fit in here nicely. I didn't have to do much adjusting on the outfitting. We've got lots of knee area in here compared to some of the old school original boats of kind of this design. The comfort level of these kayaks is phenomenal. Really comfortable, had a great time paddling it, and mainly because of the updated outfitting. We got lots of area up here in the knees, so I've got lots of room to bring my knees up nice and high. Adjustable foot block in there, so there's lots of room to trim it, and we'll have a look at the outfitting in a little bit more detail in a second. The contour seating system in here, if you're familiar with Dagger products, you know that it's super easy to adjust right out of the box. You don't have to do a lot of monkeying around. You just set it up and off you go. Nice big coaming on here. Uses like a Seals 1.4 size, pretty standard. It fits on there really well. Coming through the back here, again, we've got a couple of good heavy duty anchor points. This tapering of the design of the boat, I mean, it works really well. You do need to be mindful. Like, I don't know if this is the best boat for maybe a beginner, but certainly not a bad boat to start in. You'll learn a lot of skills really quickly, and I would highly recommend, if you're going to start off in this, maybe take a course just so you can get really familiar with how the dynamics of a kayak like this work. But if you start off learning in a kayak like this, your skills will progress really quickly, and you'll be able to transfer those skills into different boats really effectively. Big problem being is because of the low volume stern, is if you paddle in the back seat, or if you let your weight come back, this is going to lift up and engage the stern edges a lot more, creating a really intense experience in the sense that current's going to want to grab that and try and push the boat up and over top you. So if you lean forward or get your weight forward into this more volume area of the bow, it's going to keep that nose down and keep the edges of the front of the boat engaged. And then when it's time to play, you can just kind of tilt the edge back, let it catch the current, and have a lot of fun with. When you're peeling into eddies, same thing, is you kind of lean that boat in or edge that boat into the eddy. The downstream edge kind of catches here, pushes you in, and it makes a really, really unique and fun experience of carving in and out of eddies. Got our drain plug down here at the back, pretty standard. Yeah, you know, most kayaks are gonna have this, especially the larger volume boats, just for draining the water out. So let's have a quick look at the hull. So this is a slightly used boat. I used this one day up at Palmer Rapids, which is a local play spot for us. Well, not too local for me, but either way, awesome little kind of class 2, maybe easy class 3 section of whitewater. So I haven't had a chance to get this thing out in any kind of difficult whitewater, but the beauty of Palmer is it's got some nice eddies to work on, you know, some fun little spots to play around in. So it was a really good, I think, testing ground to try this out. And I really look forward to getting it out on some bigger water. So up front here, you can really see, like, I don't know if you get in the angle there of the full rocker profile. So you can see like the huge rocker profile on this, which is, it makes it really, really fun. Makes the boat really manageable to turn and pivot. We've got some really hard edges coming down the side here with a little bit of a release rail here. So getting it up on edge, surfing it, and all these other, you know, fun things that we want to do when we're paddling downriver makes it really, really versatile. As what I would consider mostly a planing hull. So the hull's fairly flat throughout the cross section here of where our main body is going to be sitting. That's going to make engaging in surfing really, really effective. As we come down to the tail here, again, that rocker profile continues all the way throughout. So like I was saying, if you get up on the back, it's really going to kind of bring that tail up and engage this low volume stern, which can be really exciting and fun. But if you're not careful, you know, you really want to be mindful of making sure you're engaging it at the right time. Fairly narrow kayak. I can't remember the specs off the top of my head, but definitely when we consider, you know, comparing it to river runners or creek boats, it feels very, very sporty. It's a fairly fast kayak downriver. So it's a lot of fun to paddle, peels in and out of eddies really, really well, and plays. Like, it's a really fun boat to paddle. So lastly is just the outfitting on the inside. It's using the typical Dagger contour outfitting, which you're gonna find in most of their modern boats. It's fairly solid, fairly easy to set up right out of the package, just by adjusting the foot block, making some adjustments to the hip pads. I find at my size, I don't generally need to slide the seat forward or back, but in a kayak like this, you might find some benefit, especially if you're a slightly newer paddler, is in bringing that seat just slightly forward to help bring your weight forward so you're keeping that nose down and keeping the stern out of the water. This is using Dagger's Creek outfitting, which I think is fabulous. It brings a huge margin of safety. So if you are going to be running hard whitewater, it has the step out pillar in here, which you're going to find in their river runners, the Code, the Mamba, the Creek, the Nomad. So it's a very, very solid pillar system in here. So if there is, you know, a case of entrapment or a pin, the chance of the bow kind of crushing and trapping you in there is very, very low. So that's a really nice feature to see in this type of boat. The adjustable thigh braces in here with our ratcheting for our back band, super easy system, really locks in and engages that back band, very effective and easy to use. What I really like about the Dagger boats is also the thigh lifter. So on the seat pan here, it's got this little ratchet that lifts up the seat pan, so you can really kind of lock your legs in with the thigh braces and getting full contact with that kayak. Hip pads, really easy to adjust. Couple of clips on the side here, open it up, tuck a couple shims in or take them out as you need to fill that in. Really, really effective. And then our back band here, again, adjustable in a couple of spots to get it into just the right spot. The stern, not a ton of room, but you know, I'd highly recommend that you put airbags in there like you should with all your whitewater boats. Not a lot of storage for gear, you know, if you're wanting to do overnight trips and stuff, but that's really not the design of this kayak. More of a day use boat, just go out, have fun, little downriver play. So the Rewind's available in 3 different sizes, a small, medium, and large. It's hard to gauge where you're going to be sitting in any particular boat, but I would say a kayak like this, you want to try and find maybe that mid-range of size. You know, if you're looking at the chart as to what size paddler, I would say aim for around the middle. Not a horrible thing if you're on the higher side. That's totally fine too. Small is going to be good for, you know, that 120 to 160 pound paddler. Our medium is going to be, you know, that 150 to 180 to 200 pound paddler. And the large, we're going to be looking anywhere from, I'd say, around 200 up to about 250 pounds. Ideal weight. You can be a little over, a little under. It's not going to be the end of the world. If you get a chance to test paddle one, I would absolutely take full advantage of that. It is really, really a fun kayak and one of the most fun boats I've had in a long time. And I'm really excited to finally get my hands on one. If you have any questions about the Dagger Rewind, feel free to send us an email or give us a call. For more information, you can check it out online, frontenacoutfitters.com. Thanks a lot for watching.